Right now, in America, take away someone's car and they can't get groceries, can't get to work, can't get to the hospital. So what's actually going on here? Is America just enormous? Or is something shadier happening underneath all that? Most people's answer is the obvious one. America's just too spread out, man. But here's the weird part. Some of the most car-dependent places in this country aren't even rural. We're talking dense, packed, full of people, and somehow walking 2 blocks or catching a bus still feels like a bad idea. So, it's just big doesn't really cut it anymore. Something got baked into the system itself, decades before any of us showed up to complain about it. Back in 1926, some small town in Ohio quietly rewired how almost every American city would get built, and barely anyone's ever heard of it. A Supreme Court ruling basically said cities could legally chop homes, shops, and jobs into separate zones for the first time, which meant a grocery store could no longer legally sit anywhere near most people's houses. So suddenly, every tiny errand meant getting in a car and driving somewhere else entirely. And that one ruling didn't just mess with a few neighborhoods, it set the blueprint for the next 100 years. Here's one nobody outside the US would believe. In most cities, it's flat out illegal to build a restaurant, store, or apartment without a minimum number of parking spaces. Not a suggestion, a legal requirement written into city code by traffic engineers in the 1950s who were kind of just guessing. So even where people would love to just walk, the law forces a slab of empty asphalt to get poured for cars that might never show up. That empty parking lot isn't some accident of car culture. It's a damn legal mandate quietly pushing everything further apart. Drive through pretty much any American suburb and you'll notice something off. The streets just don't connect. Cul De Sacs were built on purpose, partly to cut down on traffic noise, but the side effect is walking turned into a geometry nightmare. A walk that should take 5 minutes in a straight line ends up taking 20. Because the road makes you loop around in circles. At that point, walking isn't really a choice anymore. It's basically a punishment for not owning a car. Grocery chains didn't ditch walkable neighborhoods because people stopped wanting a store nearby. They left because a modern grocery store needs a giant single-story building with a massive parking lot, and zoning laws made that combo illegal inside actual neighborhoods. So the store didn't shrink and move closer. It ballooned up and moved way the hell out, which means the whole system built to make shopping efficient ended up making it nearly impossible to reach without a car. In 1956, the federal government agreed to cover 90% of the cost to build a brand new interstate highway system. And just like that, building outward got way cheaper than building up. Land outside the city got connected by fast new roads, and it was dirt cheap compared to land inside it. Entire industries reorganized themselves around that one decision. Home building, retail, even where schools got placed. Here's the twist most people miss completely. The biggest reason you can't live without a car in America isn't distance at all. Honestly, that excuse is kind of bullshit. It's that, in most cities, it is currently illegal to build the kind of neighborhood that wouldn't need a car. Roughly 3 out of every 4 residential acres in major American cities are zoned for exactly one thing: single detached houses. No density, no mixed use, no walkability allowed. So Americans didn't really choose car dependency. Almost every other option was quietly made illegal to build in the first place. Try living car-free in most American cities, and you'll run into a cost nobody warns you about: straight-up time poverty. A drive that takes 20 minutes can eat 2 hours on a bus because the routes were designed around cars, not around actual humans trying to get somewhere. That hidden time cost quietly drags people back into buying a car, even when they really can't afford it, which, let's be honest, is kind of crap. And once you buy it, you're locked into a whole different financial life: insurance, fuel, repairs, loans, costs that quietly bleed you dry. So, back to the big question. Why the hell can't you live without a car in America? It's not because the country's huge. That's the lazy answer. It's because zoning laws, parking mandates, highway funding, and school placement all quietly piled up on each other for almost a century.